Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 18 of my Football Manager 24 save with Bradford City. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 20 likes on today's episode, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you are new as well. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed. If you haven't already, with that post notification bell on, it's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Now, since you were last with us, then we've made a further 2 more signings, including a goalkeeper, because we had a major goalkeeping injury crisis and suspensions, and yeah, it was absolutely crazy what was going on, but thankfully we managed to get through that rough patch. Our form has been pretty similar to how it was since you were last with us, so make sure to drop a like on there for me, subscribe if you are new as well, and let's get into it. So we'll start out firstly then with that transfer business. Goalkeeper Magnus Norman has joined the club on a deal until the end of the season on £625 per week. If he plays 5 league matches, he gets an extra year. He has actually had to play 1 game for us where he kept a clean sheet and got a 7.6 match rating. This was at home to second place Rotherham United. We'll come back to that later on in today's video. But our other signing for now then is Nathan Young-Coombs, Nathan Young-Coombs, who joins the club on a contract until the end of next season. Again, I felt like we needed a bit more of a different type of striker going forward, because we've got a couple target men. Cassidy's more of an advanced forward, Nathan Young-Coombs a bit more of a pressing forward, and also Ryan Cassidy will be leaving the club after today's episode. He'll probably actually leave during this episode. He's going back over to Ireland, I do believe, after a pretty underwhelming spell. Nathan Young-Coombs got a hamstring injury though 15 minutes into his debut, so he hasn't kicked a league ball for us so far, but he will probably be our second choice striker. Since you were last with us then, we had a 2-0, that is not 2-0, that is a 0-0 draw away at MK Dons, a 2-2 draw at home to Burton Albion, a 4-0 win at home to Preston North End. I have no idea where this came from. A 2-1 defeat away at Peterborough. We got a red card inside the first half and we tried to defend for our lives, but unfortunately we weren't able to see that one out. A 2-2 draw at home to Bolton. Again, you look at the goals we've conceded, 84th minute and 86th minute, really disappointing. A 3-0 win at home to Hampton and Richmond in the FA Cup first round. A very disappointing 2-1 defeat away at Grimsby Town. Emmanuel Sidibe scoring from a Charles Vernam cross. We also had a 1-1 draw away at Fleetwood Town, a 3-3 draw at home to Stockport in the EFL Trophy, losing on penalties, which sees us crash out of the EFL Trophy. We scored in the 88th minute and the 90th minute, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough. We also though had that 2-0 win at home to Rotherham United, absolutely brilliant win, before most recently a 1-1 draw away at Derby, scoring quite late on in that one. In today's episode then, we have Bristol Rovers at home, who are 8th in the table, and also Bolton Wanderers away in the FA Cup second round, try and get a bit of revenge for that Tuesday night back in October. Let's waste no further time then and get into the first game of today's episode. Here we have it then. Here's how we line up for the first game of today's episode at home to Bristol Rovers. We've got Jensen in goal, a back three of Fish, Radovanovic and Lindsay, with Wilson and Obeta as the wing backs, Bakinson and Rathbone in the midfield, with Markande and Diamond either side of Kelvin, who is getting the nod in this one. He has actually scored his first league goal since you were last with us, although I say first league goal, I have a real big feeling that it was in that cup match against Hampton and Richmond, but I could be completely wrong. It might have been in the one against Fleetwood. I can't really remember. All the games seem to blur into one, but let's hope we can get another 3 points in this one. We've got a very tough FA Cup match against Bolton in the next game, but I hope you're all enjoying the series, because I'm really enjoying it. We're now deep into our 3rd season, and so far I think we're progressing well. We're not being too unrealistic with it and just, getting a financial takeover and signing loads of amazing players and just easily going through the divisions. It has been a little bit of a struggle for us to get to this point, and I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. If you've got any tips or suggestions of how to make these videos more engaging as well, you're the viewer at the end of the day, and that is the most important thing, so let me know down in the comment section down below. But Bristol Rovers coming forward very early on here, and they take the lead through Matteo Joseph, the former Leeds United man. He might actually be on loan from Leeds United, but we know in the summer Bristol Rovers signed a few of our players, likes of Adam Wilson, Clark Adore, for example. It doesn't like they're playing today, but that was a really nice finish there from Joseph. Jensen doesn't really stand much chance, in all honesty. Bristol Rovers take the lead after only 8 minutes on the clock, which is quite disappointing, to be fair. Throwing for us then over on the far side, Wilson finds Bakinson, and now Fish goes into Radovanovic. A little bit of time for him to go back out wide into Kane Wilson. Can he get a ball into the box? He clips it in, looking for Kelvin, who rises highest, heads over the bar though, never troubling Nwosu in goal for the Gas. They've only had one shot in this game, but unfortunately it has been a shot which has found the back of the net. We've had a few chances and dominated possession really, but have been unable to convert so far. I think with having such a small squad, fitness and fatigue is quite an issue at this moment in time, but we knew it was probably going to be a problem for this first season in League One, and it was just about trying to survive while also trying to get in some good young players as Lindsay goes close to try and sell on for more value. Like for example, Fish is on £9 a week, but we could easily sell him for 300-400 grand in the summer. So I do think we have made some smart additions for the short term. We were never going to get promoted this season. We're 11 points off the playoffs, but more importantly, we're 9 points above the drop zone at this moment in time, which is all that really matters. So when we're losing 1-0 at half time at home to Burton, even though we've been probably the better side, slightly edged it, I don't really have too many qualms because we probably are going to finish mid-table this season, so I don't really mind too much. 10 minutes into the second half then, not a lot is really happening so far. We'll give them a final piece of encouragement and then look to make our first substitutions of the game. As you can see, a lot of tired players, so we might make quite a few here. Beasley's going to come on for Kelvin. Poynton is going to come on for Markande and play as an inside forward. We're also going to bring on Penny for maybe Wilson and play him as a right wing back. I know he's can't really play there and he's left footed, but he should be able to do a job for us there. And we're also going to bring on Richard Nate for Will Fish at this moment in time. 4 changes made on the hour. It's not really because I think we're playing awfully, because we're not, in all honesty. It's just about fitness, fatigue. We've got some big games coming up as well, and I don't just want to kill the players for the sake of one match. We've got to think about the long term and all that sort of stuff because of injuries, and we don't want loads of muscular injuries being picked up at this point in the season. Jordan Cousins, who is going to be leaving the club in January, is going to come on for Ollie Rathbone. I think he's going to Blackpool. He's just been complaining about his game time and all that sort of stuff, so I thought, we might as well get him out the door. Of course, that was always going to happen. We were going to make our final sub and then instantly we were going to get an injury. Diamond has done a potential foot injury. We don't really have another natural left winger, so fingers crossed that's not too much of a problem. We'll berate them one final time, stick it onto very attacking. Statistically, we have been the better team in this game, so it is quite frustrating. I think they're also down to 10 men as well. They are, so it's 10 versus 10 at the moment, but frustrating we haven't been able to find the back of the net. We created over 1 XG, a disappointing 1-0 defeat to start out today's episode, but look at the state of that formation. There's a reason why we're mid-table, and I think that epitomises it, to be honest. We seem to be picking up quite a lot of these ligament injuries. Kane Wilson's now going to be out for the next 7 weeks because of a knee ligaments injury, and Jack Diamond's injury as well was also a ligaments injury. I think it was ankle. He's only out for 2 weeks. He's got pulled ankle ligaments, whereas Kane Wilson was it sprained knee ligaments? I'm not really too sure what the difference is, but clearly it being sprained is much more significant. Is it down to heavy workload potentially? If I go to the medical centre, we've got a lot of players with heavy match loads and high risk of injury, but what else are we going to do at the moment? We're just kind of going to look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players injured. 7 players injured. Obviously, one is out on loan, but it's crazy the amount of injuries we're picking up. And it's not like we've got a tiny squad. We are able to rotate. It's just crazy amount of injuries that we are actually sustaining at this moment in time because it's currently not very sustainable. Here we have it then. Here's how we line up for the second game of today's episode away at Bolton Wanderers in the FA Cup second round. We're going a little bit more defensive for this one. We've got Jensen in goal, a back 5 of Rankin, Fish, Radovanovic, Lindsay and Penny, with Poynton and Rathbone on the wings, Brunt and Sheehan in the middle, and Kelvin up front on his own. He's probably going to come off at half time. We can get Beasley on against hopefully a tired defence. You're allowed 9 subs. Markande probably never going to come on, but he's back in training in 2 days, so I don't think it's the end of the world if we give him 15 minutes if we absolutely have to. But it's going to be a tough game. We know Bolton are a very tricky side. I'm hoping that we're going to use the motivation of the way we bottled it the last time out against them with 6 minutes left on the clock, 2-0 up, to only come away from that game with a point, to try and get one over them in this one. I'm not too sure how strong their team is, in all honesty. It looks pretty strong. Santos in the heart of the defence and Lundulu, Adebayojo playing real life. Is this Aaron Collins? Obviously very good player, so it looks like they're pretty strong. We are going with a different mentality though, as we are away from home, going to go a bit more defensive, try and hit them on the counter and hope that it does come up with something good. We're going to put the Bradford City stats on there so we can see in a little bit more details. Bolton with an early free kick here, cleared away by Sheehan, only as far as Adebayojo. A little bit of time for him here to pick a pass into the midfield. Samuel now plays it into midfield. Miles hits one from distance. Good save in the end from Jensen. Because it's a cup match, I should have really rotated my goalkeepers, to be fair. I should have given Norman a chance, as in as in the only league game he has played for Bradford City, he got a 7.6 match rating, but I didn't really want to take that gamble against a team like Bolton Wanderers, as Chow Chen will take this free kick, loads of room, and he lays it off into Jones. Are they going to try and work a nice set play here? Now Almeida Santos plays it through, and they've hit the post there. It's Kumbeni with the strike. 26 minutes on the clock. They nearly take the lead there. The man playing as a Segundo Volante. I mean, would you ever see a player play as a Segundo Volante or a Segundo Volante type of player in Football Manager? Not in Football Manager, in real life. Probably not, especially in League One. But regardless of that, 5 minutes left of the first half. I think we've done pretty well to get to this stage, and it's still been 0-0. We've not really offered much. We've got a lot of tired players out there, but this is what we wanted. Get to half-time, and we're still within more than a chance of winning this game. I know it's not been the most entertaining of episodes so far, but we're here to try and win the football matches. We're not here to try and be entertaining. Very much a Derek Adams, a Steve Evans approach to football is certainly my philosophy. As the ball's come into the box there, and Kelvin was certainly challenging with Helliwell there. Why have Bolton got so many players whose names are really hard to pronounce? Why can you not just have a lot of Daves and Charles and people like that? I mean, that's a very good run from the Segundo Volante man there, but a good save in the end from Jensen. We'll give it until around the hour mark before we do start to make some substitutions, but while it's still 0-0 and we've got a chance of maybe a replay, I don't really see a reason why we should go more attacking. We will make some substitutions depending on what happens in this one. It's a free kick for Bolton. Chow Chen sends it into the box. It's a short ball and cleared away by Lindsay. Only as far as Chow Chen once more. Ball inside. It comes off to Almeida Santos, and thankfully for our sake, it's taken a deflection and gone out for a corner. An hour now passed on the clock, and Miles will take as the Bradford fans are crammed into the corner. Laid off to the edge. Collins can bend them from there, and he bends it for our sake. Thankfully, off the crossbar. Let's now make a double substitution. We are going to bring on Jake Beasley for Kelvin, and we also want to bring on someone who can play on the left wing. Ogbeta can apparently play there. He's going to come on and play as a supportive midfielder. Who's better out of the two of them? It's Penny by the looks of things, so we'll move Ogbeta slightly deeper. Double change made there on the hour mark. Quite happy with them subs, but as you can see, Bolton are definitely battering us, and it's a case of Bradford get battered everywhere we go at this moment in time. Throwing for us though, can we nick it? That is a poor pass. We've won it back. Penny ball in, point and back post. He's never going to get on the end of that. And Kante, the man who caused a lot of problems in the previous fixture against Bolton this season, picks up the ball, but they've decided to go back with it. Kante still with the ball. He finds it into Samuel. Into the midfield now. Kumbeni finds Miles. Loads of time here. Can we maybe nick that ball back? Really nice footwork. He lays it off. We can't get the foot in. Shot's going to come in, and that is a big save in the end from Lucas Jensen. Before this set play, we are also now going to make some substitutions. I'm going to bring off Radovanovic for Lewis Freestone as well. We're going to play him as a just defensive central defender. I also want to bring off maybe Matt Penny. I'm now also looking at Josh Sheehan actually in the midfield. We'll get him off and get Bakinson on in there. Someone who on paper is slightly better than him. So let's see what he can come up with. 18 minutes left on the clock. A double change made at a set play is not normally the best thing to do. You never really see it in real life anymore. It's not necessarily the smartest of things, but 15 minutes left on the clock. We've been battered all game, but we're still well within a chance of getting something out of it. 8 minutes to go. Thomas and ball in towards the back post, headed away by Lindsay in a big wrestling match there with Almeida Santos. Good inception there from Brunt, playing in the midfield today and having a good game. Really good first touch there from Beasley. He's got a lot of Bolton shirts around him and not many Bradford ones. Gets to the byline, cuts it back for Rankin. Bakinson will hit one, and I thought that was going to fly into the back of the net. Instead, it's flown just wide, unfortunately. 5 minutes left on the clock. We've finally had our second shot of the game. How long is going to be added on? 3 minutes are added on at the end of today's game, which means we're now going to bring on Cousins for Penny. We'll put Poynton over to the left, which is a position he apparently can't play right, so we're not going to do that substitution. Then we're going to keep Penny on the pitch for now, and we're going to bring on Cousins for Will Fish, and we'll put Brunt into the heart of the defence and keep Cousins in that midfield, literally just for the final 2 minutes or so. See the game out. We'll take the replay. You've seen one goal in this episode, but we have the potential of making it into the second round now, because I feel like at home, we've got a much better chance than away from home. That was a very satisfying result. Nobody gave us a chance. We literally drew the football match. Very nice that we've also now received £14,000 because Evan Gulu's played 20 matches for his team over in Croatia. Maybe we're missing replacing him this season. But as you can see, in a day's time, we do have some transfer business. Ryan Cassidy will be joining Derry City on a permanent transfer. We've been given around 20 to 40,000 pounds, something like that. I can't quite remember the fee off the top of my head, but we'll wait for this to officially go through before we do end today's episode. Here we go. Ryan Cassidy has been sold for £18,470, I think. We've been given £18,500. It could rise up to £29,000. In our 2 seasons in League Two, 16 goals in 22 starts and 11 goals in 12 starts. He did really well for us. This season has struggled to make that step up into League One. Had a year left on his contract. Now at this point, 7 months, I take it. He's gone to Derry City, only actually on a deal until the end of the next Irish season, so around a 10-month contract, something like that, but makes sense really to just get him off the wage bill. Him going out the door meant that we had to bring in Nathan Young-Coombs. This is very complicated to explain, but hopefully you're sticking with me here. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 20 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed. If you haven't already, with that post notification bell on, it's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below on my transfer business that has happened in today's episode, and also my style of play as well. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll probably come back for around the end of January, that sort of time. Peace.